anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. I just sit down.
As they said in Super Mario Kart, let's go! So yeah, here's a new retarded episode of Radio Rothingham, the least professional podcast on the entire internet. We got with you a few co-hosts. We got the Astra. Which is the Astra? Hi. We got Sekele.
I might be out of the loop, kinda.
We got that asshole, the Artrix. No one likes him. This is Licensed Slanders, and I don't agree.
Who's an Artrix?
I know, right? And we got Xaverius, I guess.
Well, I don't know.
Do I know you?
I don't know. Who are you?
Do you know me? You don't know me? Oh.
What am I doing here?
What am I doing here? What's this? What's this microphone? Why is there a Cintiq in my face? The last thing I remember was that there was like this Japanese guy, and was walking around just chucking arrows at people, and it's like the late 21st century. And now
it's late 21st century arrows.
Did any one of them hit you?
No, but I hit some enemies, I guess. But then someone shouted at me for being in Hanzo main, and now I end up here behind this screen, which doesn't even work because magic. But at least I made this drawing. I can save it. We just restart Photoshop. We sure are a very professional podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So,
I am being a podcast right now.
It's very magical. So yeah, as a Radio Rothingham, we are a bunch of assholes on the internet who make commentary on stuff that happens IRL and
in real life.
In real life, it's like Inception, except it's with real life.
IRL. In IRL, yes.
Yeah, if you die in IRL, then you die IRL.
In Canada.
That too.
You know what happens to people when they get killed? They die.
I didn't know.
Oh my god.
It's God.
Also, I can't remember having drawn hacker poo. Oh well. So yeah.
I guess I shouldn't have killed all those people.
Oh yeah, if I just killed that one Lucio, we might have caught the point. Oh wait, that's the Hanzo and me talking. Anyway, so what's the first thing?
Hanzo's pull out of Artrix.
Okay, I guess all I need to do is just eat some bitterballen, and then I can use the Dutch to expel him from me.
They're huge Dutch.
Yeah, the only thing I have to look out for is that I don't go and order sushi, because that will probably relapse me into Hanzo mode.
Yeah, wakateki rokua.
Yeah, so yeah, I can already see it now. So I'm walking down Markt Hall, and I'm like,
and suddenly there's a small Italian man with a hat in his hand.
No. So walk down in Markt Hall, go to the sushi place. I'm like, can I have the all-you-can-eat sushi blocks? And then like, sure. And I sit down and get the sushi, and then I get this flashback to all the time I was Hanzo. And then I just feel compelled to Dragon Strike the entire inner city, and just keeps going on forever. Death count is in the millions. It just keeps going across the entire planet. It just cuts through all of Western Europe, then Eastern Europe, then Russia, and then there's gonna be World War III, because it triggers the nuclear explosion system. So it's gonna be, oh my god, there's a nuclear attack. Well, I guess we have to end the world now. And that's how Hanzo mains destroyed the entire world. GG.
Good job.
Let's see, this is gonna be Ray Rothingham episode 71. There we go, it's saved, so I can restart Photoshop and get the drive up and running again. Then
Explode.
Then I'll be rich.
And exploded.
While we do that, also there's a loot picture behind this, and I don't want to be flagged on the oh, it's a good thing that OBS window was there, because my co-streamer is streaming something pretty lewd right now. But you
Well,
can't
should
see
have
it.
made it a loot picture of
Lewd.
Scootaloo and delete it out of existence.
I guess I
Let's
should
see
save
if
this
it's
one as
Scootaloo.
well. I'll just dump it in my downloads folder for the time being.
I'll just dump it in my dump.
Lewd. There we go, downloads. I mean, it might come in handy sometime. Right, now to close Photoshop and to restart it, and then hopefully I'll have my pen pressure sensitivity back up and running,
Good job.
and then I'll be rich.
I'll save this to my internet.
Well, I just saved it to my personal internet. It's a very large and complex network that contains all the internet, all of it. Okay, first gotta restart the surface, restart, and then reboot Photoshop. It should be
Hello, computer.
all the things I have to do just to draw Hanzo. Let's see, it's working, let's see. Open recent.
It's a kind of Hanzo.
It's a kind of Hanzo. There we go. There he is, and yay, it works again. GG. I also need. You guys didn't see that. Don't flag this video blocks.
Artrix into tech support.
Do not flag this video, play us.
So with all these weird websites, I just want this image. There we go. I came prepared, then something went wrong, and well, we are through most professional podcasts in India. That was very amusing. Let's carry on with whatever it was we were doing. So, also I'm pretty sure that whatever Curly's drawing is not really that lewd anyway, so just there we go. Anyway,
You don't
You need-
decide what's lewd.
well, yeah, I'm the final arbiter of what is lewd. That's up to me to decide. It's a very hard job, so I actually don't do it. So in the end, everyone can just decide what they find lewd. But you know, I'm the
Everything
final
is lewd.
arbiter. Well, according to Aeneas Keegan, yes, everything is lewd. Everything is lewd. Everything is lewd, and you have to point it all out.
Everything is ludophobic. Wait.
Now you're lewd shaming. Come on.
Yeah, that's basically the whole problem here. Like self contradiction all the way through.
Unless of course you're an Hanzo main, then nothing is a contradiction. Unless someone points out that no, we don't need a Hanzo right now. Stop being Hanzo. Fuck off.
Is Hanzo even useful in any way?
Yeah, yes.
Are snipers even useful in any way?
Yes, they are. But you need to be a good sniper. You see, if you can get your
Any
shots,
good
then
snipers out there?
There's 1, 2, 3 so far.
well, the most cancerous team you can construct is one that consists of Hanzo, Widowmaker, on attack of course, and and a Anna and some semi-ranged heroes like Soldier, and I think that's just about it. That's all the long range. Oh, I guess Diva, but you need to constantly be ejected from your mech so you can have your long range weapon. So you just purposely run into the enemy team, they destroy your mech, and you're like, thank you. Now I'll just baby Diva and shoot from distance. Meanwhile, the payload's just sitting there unattended. But hey,
Payload.
Artrix, payload is the objective. Why would anybody go near an objective?
I know, right? I mean, all I care is my decay ratio, so yeah. No, we don't care about no stinking objective. Fuck that shit.
I don't need no stinking objective.
Especially Hanzo. He doesn't need objectives. Yes, he makes his own objective made of sake.
There's objective somewhere in the world.
Sake.
There,
He will make his own objective
there,
with blackjack and hookers.
there is no sake on this objective. I will go and find my own objective with blackjack and hookers. Sake!
In fact, forget the blackjack.
No, of course not, because what he wants is like those Japanese chicks that lay on a table and have the food on their tummies and whatnot. And use the little chopsticks to take it, and then you know the food inspection services shut down immediately because of hygiene reasons.
I always wondered what the appeal of it was. I mean, it's not like not understandable whatsoever. You know, it's not one of the more bizarre ones, but
I think it's pretty. I think. Oh,
Oh shit! Sorry, creeper.
I agree.
Sorry.
so although I did hear that there is a Mongolian dish that is basically a piece of beef put on the back of a horse, then a saddle is put on top of it, and then you ride on it the whole day, and that's the meal.
The hell?
I mean, what is left of the meat between the horse and the
Well,
saddle?
yeah, you need to tenderize it, obviously. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Can you even cook?
And apparently the horse's sweat is the seasoning.
Yes, I mean, it's salty.
Right.
How do you not get this? Like basics of cooking.
But yeah, I think the appeal of this whole eating your dish from the girl's stomach thing is pretty much based on power. It's like, you know, just imagine being this guy and you can afford to do this kind of thing.
But I would be constantly afraid that something tickles her or she sneezes and everything ends on the ground.
Well, then you execute her.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't think you have that much power.
I mean, obviously she should be the perfect dining dish.
Accessory.
Accessories. It needs to be the perfect eating plate. Otherwise, you know, off with your head or something like that. I mean, they did in Tom and Jerry. There was an episode of Tom and Jerry where the general's like, if you don't capture some mouse, off its the head. And it was heavily implied in the episode that actually happened. You know,
Yeah.
Tom was like, oh shit, I'm screwed. And he was kind of screwed. Except he wasn't screwed, he was decapitated. Which is kind of, you know,
I
worst
think
fate.
I've seen the episode, the French version. Yeah.
He was in the Three Musketeers or something like
That's
that.
it. Yeah. The Three Musketeers.
Mouseketeers. It's like that entire animated series named the Three Houndketeers or something like that.
Slightly recall that.
I remember a book.
You-
Three Musketeers, but they were doges.
You mean
Yes.
D'Artagnan?
I think, yes. I think that was the one with the super catchy theme song.
Yeah.
The worst thing about that was, up until not too long ago, I was wondering, okay, I've got this annoying shit tune in my head. I can get it out, like it's super catchy, but I don't know what it's from. And then I saw it on YouTube and it was like,
It's from YouTube.
Oh, so that's what it's from. And nothing
And
of value.
apparently it was a Spanish and Japanese co-production.
Yep, the
Okay.
Spanish were, you know, doing a lot of animations back in the 80s. One of the most popular, something that's still popular even is Willy Fogg and the 80-day tour
Oh yeah,
around
I
the world.
think it was actually it was. I'm currently reading the Wikipedia article, and it was the same studio.
Yep, BBR or something like that.
BRB.
Or BRB.
Be right back.
BRB. Yeah.
BRB the studio. GG.
Yeah.
But it was a surprisingly good series. Like you know, it followed the original story fairly faithfully. Obviously, there were some changes to it, but for one thing, one
You
thing
mean
that people
was there less murders or something?
Oh, and these people are also responsible for David the Gnome.
What was it called again?
Around
and they
Willy
also-
Fogg around the world in 80 days.
And
No,
they
the
also
Three
did-
Doggeteers, whatever it was
Oh.
called.
I think
And
that's
there's
it, the Three
also
Doggeteers.
I do remember Willy Fogg and the 80 days stuff. Yes.
And by the way, these same people who did D'Artagnan and Around the World with Willy Fogg also did Sandokan in the same style.
Wow.
Yeah, they were pretty big back in the 80s. Then they kind of were not as awesome, but they're still around, making cheap direct-to-DVD movies and whatnot. Like, so yeah, they made the Around the World in 80 days thing.
Sandokan is one of those so amazing forgotten things that would be too racist for these days.
Anyway, according to Wikipedia, their
That's
most
amazing.
recent creation was a direct-to-DVD, basically rip-off of My Little Pony.
Why am I not surprised at all?
It's called Philly Fantasia, which is based on a German toy line, and said toy line is basically a rip-off of My Little Pony.
Wait,
it's-
didn't I caught a wind of that? I think I saw something that was like that, and it had horses in it, and it was absolutely terrible. Yes, I think it was that.
Well, let's be honest about here. This is Germany we're talking about.
I just want more
Germany and
Sandokan. Can I get more Sandokan?
Probably not. I'm sorry.
But it's
I'm
amazing.
I'm never sorry, so never be sorry.
I'm posting a link to the chat because apparently it has its own website.
How many Sandokans does it have?
Well, Be Right Back still has its own website, so. But yeah. So after they made Willy Fogg Around the World in 80 days, they decided it was necessary to make a sequel, in which he goes under the sea.
Under the
So-
sea. Under the sea.
So he took his Indian waifu, and instead of going around the world in 80 days, he was like, well, okay, so we did, we went around the world in 80 days. So what's next? Well,
Now let's appropriate some other book.
yeah,
That we
now-
have no business being in.
Yeah, so now
Yeah,
we're just
and
gonna go
stop
under
it,
the sea or
please.
something like that.
It's another Jules Verne's book.
Yes, that was the joke.
Yes, which is probably the entire reason why they picked that book in the first place. They're like, well, he wrote that book as well, so I guess we should, the book's there anyway. It's lying there on the table. We might as well make an animated series about it. And no one cared, except for Spain. But that's kind of the thing about Willy Fogg. The only people that care about Willy Fogg is Spain, and the rest of the world is like, well, the original.
I liked
series-
it.
No, I liked it, but I have no interest in seeing this entire 20 Leagues Under the Sea thing. It's just silly.
Well, me neither, but it was mostly because they aired it and at weird times when I wasn't home.
That and
then you like sit alone at 3 in the morning and suddenly there's a reprise. So I guess
also they
I'm
made it
doing
into
now.
a theoretical play, so you could actually go. You could actually go to Spain, and then go into a theater and see people in real life.
But I
dressed up
can't
as
go to
characters.
Spain. They all talk Mexican in there, and I don't know any Mexican.
Oh my god, this is weird. This is real.
Also, now imagine this entire theater full of nothing but sombras that came to go and see Willy Fogg and 20 Miles Under the Sea, the
It's
musical.
called a sombrero Artrix.
Oh yeah, of course, a large gathering of sombras and sombrero. That's a good one.
Or a gathering of Mexicans wearing sombra as a hat.
But no, no, actually no. A sombrero is a large gathering of Mexicans, but they're all Tumblrina, so they all have like the rainbow-colored punk hair that sombra does.
Rainbow-colored pumpkins. Pumpkins are okay.
Mm. Anyway, maybe we should bring up an actual topic that's relevant to everything. But since we're already talking about animation,
Yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up. Today, Nickelodeon released the first official footage for the new direct-to-DVD Rocko's Modern Life and Hey Arnold movies.
I don't know about the Hey Arnold movie, but I've seen the preview for the Rocko's Modern Life reboot, and the best thing I like about it is that it's still got exactly the same kind of humor that the original had.
This time around they are taking the shit out of the 2010s.
Mhm. Well, they already did that in the original. Like the original was basically just them shitting on the 90s. And not even shitting, it's just, observational humor. It's like, oh yeah, isn't this thing that we're doing isn't kind of silly? That was kind of
Best part is that looking back at it, like now that the 90s are over, many of those things really do seem silly. So I do wonder that when people will be looking back at this version, if they will think, well, they obviously will think that, like, yeah, this is super silly.
Mhm. Though the thing about this reboot is that, since it's already kind of looking at the 20 teens through the lens of the show, which is a product of the 90s, I don't think you can replicate this in another 15 years when,
Yeah,
no,
if the creators are no longer active.
And that too.
Because what helps this is that it's basically the same people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Both the original creator and at least from the footage, it looks like they got all of the original actors back as well. And it's the exact same art style, of course. Only thing that slightly changed is the animation.
Yeah,
if you look very carefully, it looks like, yeah, more computers were used in it than in the original.
I don't see that.
It's kind of obvious when you are actually looking for it, then you'll notice it.
Yeah, but it's not, that glaringly obvious. Like you said, you have to be looking for it.
I like computers.
But nothing in that trailer gives me the impression that they were cheaping out or anything. It really feels like the original thing. So I really have to commend them for it, and I'm really looking forward to it, which is something I don't say often about Nickelodeon direct.
You really have to recommend them your recommendation. I mean, commendation.
Well, I'm going to recommend it twice. So go see it, and go see it. You have to do it twice. If you don't, then what else? Then Hanzo will come to your house and dragon strike you. And I'll tell you that's not a very pleasant thing. You don't want that. No. Apparently you'd think that the people caught in the dragon strike are killed by some magic or something like that, but instead it's just really ticklish. But it's so ticklish that does you in. It's like, oh my god, it tickles so much. And then you're dead because it tickled too much.
Is it even possible?
Well, that's actually a good question. Can you tickle someone to death?
I mean, well, technically it is possible to die from laughing to death, but that's it's not really the laughter that will kill you,
no,
but you may get a heart attack as a result of the exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So yeah, I reckon that being tickled to death is probably due to a similar effect where, oh, god damn it, where's the, oh, there, need a scrubbing tool. But yeah, I don't think I think it can be done. You can tickle someone to death, but it's kind of on the same vein as killing someone at the Sunday New York Times. You need to be really dedicated.
Kind of like with a spoon.
Or with a spoon. No, just...
Spoons are actually more efficient if you use them as stabbing weapons instead of as blunt weapons.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I actually can't think of any other way to use spoons effectively as a weapon. So, stabbing it is.
You take it and you jammed it in the people, and that's how you use it as a weapon.
And then the funny red water comes out.
I like it.
I like it when the red stuff comes out. Oh, and the worst part is that I get the reference.
Yeah.
We are all a bunch of degenerates.
We sure are.
At least I don't watch anymore.
Anyway, Astra, do you have any thoughts about it? You're an animation nerd. Riveting.
Artrix, who are you talking to?
Astra.
Who?
Who?
Who's
Doctor
an
Who.
Astra?
There's nobody there.
Yeah, apparently she
It's
died.
just the three of us.
Wait, she's not even in the call now?
No,
No.
she's
Who?
not.
I guess
She's
so.
not in the
Artrix, who are you talking about? There's nobody here by the street.
I think her internet crapped out on her because he did say that her internet was being shit lately.
Yeah.
And it's a shame too because I was gonna do Astra time with the Astra because you know, there was the thing with Doctor Who that I want to bring up.
Yeah, I don't follow Doctor Who.
She's
Exists,
he's
but
got
that's
he's got a vagina now, and apparently that's an issue. With
I mean, that technically did already happen once, at least once.
Mm. But of course, if you ask a feminist, you know, there's never ever been a strong female character until now. That social justice prevails.
We've already had the master going into a female form, so I thought we are done with the feminist memes. Well, apparently not.
I mean,
You can never have enough feminist memes.
we need
Well,
more.
depends on what type of feminist.
Well, since every feminist, like, you know, is a crazy one, or better, every woman is a feminist.
Oh yeah,
That's
of course, you know, that if feminism is anything to go by, then yes, all women, everyone on the planet, no exceptions, all women are feminists.
Even the Muslim ones who blew themselves up.
They're feminists. You know, they're probably the
Well,
biggest
when I
feminists
think
out
about
there.
it, yes.
I mean, they're the lowest on the oppression stack, obviously. So of course they're feminists. Duh. Why else would they go and kill women? Oh wait. Like an entire stadium filled with concert hall filled with teenage women. Oh.
You know, I really don't understand why feminists love Muslim fundamentalists so much.
Well, I know because it's still the oppression stack, and they're, you know, on one of the lowest levels. They're obviously oppressed and shit.
But
And
they
also-
do be oppressing themselves.
But dude, they're, you know, the Western values are evil, and they're fighting Western values. Ergo, they're good.
Yeah, but said Western values also include feminism.
But no, you're wrong. Also, facts are oppressive. You're oppressing me with your facts.
Good.
Oh god. But yeah, from what I gather, the basic reason
sad
is
part is
actually
that
that is something I want to bring to bring up because it's kind of a part of post-modernism, which is something that kind of explains this crazy line of thinking where feminists can justify supporting, Islams because
Yes, and before
postmodern.
you get completely off topic, I just like to say that female Doctor Who is a very retarded idea. If if I disregard the fact that we're finally being moving in the correct direction, which is a grumpy old guy who doesn't give a fuck about anybody, which is exactly what Doctor was originally and should be, because there was a tendency in the restarted series that the Doctors were young men with more hair products than a small drugstore.
Mm-hmm.
And like now there's like this woman and she's not even old. Why would you put not old people into the role? What's wrong with you? Of
Yeah.
course, of course, of course. The show has like 50% absolutely abysmal writing. So what
Wasn't
are they
that
called?
wasn't
The
that all?
viewership is going down.
Well, they are
Oh,
probably
that's a
gonna
good thing then.
they're
So
probably gonna go the way of Marvel, where like
usually they would just put in another person with lots of hair products in, but since now what's in is the feminist memes, they just put another woman there, even though it has actually no grounds in the lore. If by that you mean that Master Missy thing, no, that's the same thing. That's just another feminist meme that's not grounded in reality. And if you count that one offhand sentence in one of the episodes that were written by Neil Gaiman, then how is like no. That's not how that works.
also an interesting thing about this whole
There's
ordeal
no
is
groundwork like for this.
also an interesting
They,
thing.
they just one day decided this is a thing now, and then they started doing it all over the place. But it was not a thing before. You added no explanation. You added no logical reasons for that to happen. You did not even explain it as in the Time Lord chooses it like this. Maybe they explain it like that too, but that it's like it's kind of late.
Wasn't
It's
there
the show writing has changed. There's a different show writer now, showrunner even. Well, the one that just left was known for being a good writer when he's not running the show and writing only one episode, because the moment he tried to write an overarching storyline, it was absolutely horrible. It was convoluted, it made no sense, and he didn't bother answering half of the questions he raised, which was not well received by anybody, not even his fans.
Well, that's a
Most.
sign of a good writer.
Yes, and now the Doctor is changing, the companion is changing, the show writer is changing. It's a complete overhaul. So, more space for feminist memes. Plus, the actress is feminist. And when they were asking her about stuff, she was uh, producing the perspectives of her. And she started with being a feminist, then went to being a woman, and then went to being an actress.
Hmm. But it's absolutely no cult or a religion or anything. This is all extremely rational. When you put feminism above all your other identifiers, it's like when I go down to an interview and say, well,
I'm Dutch.
yeah, I'm Dutch. Also, I'm male. Also, I'm an artist. That's like completely having your priorities not in
I'm
order.
Dutch with crayons. Fear me.
Or when I say, hello, you go out to a party and I'm like, hello, my name is Artrix. I am a classical liberal. I'm also an artist. And then the other person like, right. This guy brings up politics as one of the first things he talks about.
You know, I am first and foremost myself.
Gee.
Like my real name that I'm not going to disclose here.
For obvious reasons.
You are what, mate? Yourself? What is this?
It's almost as
Is
if
this
you're
some
an
sort of real
individual.
life? Is this the Blizzard real ID?
Vidite?
Okay, also I think I'm done inking.
So
this
yeah,
one,
so
go ahead and call it.
you are saying that the ratings are dropping?
Well, yes, because they had shit writing the first 2 seasons of Capaldi. I mean, I haven't seen a talent so wasted on this show yet. Some of the episodes were brilliant. For some reason, they are putting episodes into the middle of the series, the last two at least, that are better than the actual finale. For some reason, and yeah, and some of them are absolutely horrible. Like they didn't even know what to do with the character for a while, or rather, they had a rough idea, but they had no idea how to do it. They were like, okay, we want him to do this. Now figure out how to make a story that loosely connects him to this resolution, instead of making a story that naturally ends up in that resolution, which is what you should be doing when you are writing stories. But hey, I'm not a story or a writer or a story writer.
Oh yeah.
But
Then
yeah,
again,
The
neither
views
are
are-
them.
but yeah, personally, I don't mind that the new Doctor's gonna be a woman. I don't give a shit. I'm like, okay, whatevs.
That's kind of how I was originally willing to female for Jen.
I heard the news story and was like, okay. But then, rather predictably, you got
The Fire
three.
Nation attacked, and everything
Yeah.
changed.
Well, that's basically what happened because then the Tumblrites came along and they're like, oh yeah, look at all these men being upset that the new Doctor's female, and feminism and blah blah blah. And then the actress comes about and says, yes, I'm a feminist and it's an honor to be
Did you know I have a vagina?
Did you know I have a vagina? Blah blah blah. And then you're like, oh my god.
By the way, I'm an actress.
Well, it is a good thing that I never followed Doctor Who.
It's a good
Although
thing
I
you
will
don't have a
say-
vagina.
Although I will say that things are falling, which is kind of similar situation to how Marvel's comic sales are falling. However,
Yeah.
Marvel was able to double down on it. These
Isn't-
are still making money.
Isn't
which-
isn't that the case with BBC? Because BBC has been pushing the feminist agenda, or the not even just feminism, but like the oppression stack in general. Like they're actively discriminating against white people for being white. They're like, oh yeah, we got this job. Do you want job?
Well, if
Oh,
they don't
yeah,
like
I
it,
think
they
I-
shouldn't be white. Come on.
Yeah. So they're like, do you want job? And like, yeah, I got the qualifications. Like, here I was the best in reporting school and shit. I fit all the requirements to the T. And they're like, no, fuck off, you're white. Oh.
Well, being
So
white is
are-
not a requirement.
So are you discriminating against my skin? No, but we got quotas and shit. And so we're gonna.
You technically, I think that according to European law, you could attack this as discrimination.
Well,
Like
it is.
legit. Yeah, did anyone try to sue them?
No. and I
Really should. It's even worse because BBC is using taxpayers' money for this.
Hmm?
So unlike Marvel, who is at least kept alive by their money from the movies, then BBC is actively bleeding the British citizens
I
out of finance.
I think, for instance, Sargon tried to get a mailing campaign going where people would write in and say, "Look, BBC, you guys are being a shit. Stop with this shit. It's not fair." But they kind of just gave them all a canned response that came down to, well, yeah, but oppression stack and whatnot, and our hiring practices need to reflect the British population or something like that.
So, in other words, the British should elect some hard conservative.
Didn't they kind of do that already? I mean, we know that Corbyn, he won fair and square. He was obviously a big victor, going from a minority fraction to a slightly bigger minority fraction. But, he was the big winner of the election. So, but, we still got them conservatives in there that probably have very little interest in doing anything about this. Because
Which kind of sucks.
they're probably too busy negotiating Brexit right now.
Yeah. But I do hope that once this is dealt with, they will cut BBC's money.
Ah, well, that's the thing. BBC is still a very relevant institution, but yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean, they freaking deserve to have their money cut.
They are being a shill. I'll give you that. Anyways, did we have any other topics to bring up? I'm pretty sure we did.
So there is the sad news that the lead singer of Linkin Park has passed away due to suicide today.
Oh wait, so it's suicide.
After,
I didn't know that.
after basically dealing with depressions for most of his life, he kinda ended it today or yesterday.
Despite putting it into all his songs. I guess in the end it doesn't matter anymore.
It was his way of coping with it,
But that was
or like many artists do.
lyric.
I guess the what was crawling in his skin anyways? The wounds.
Wounds that do not heal.
Okay. But those are sentient. They don't run across your skin. They are part of your skin.
It's called metaphors.
I don't understand metaphors. Too complex for me. I need everything to be in Reddit just to digest chunks that I can interpret immediately without any ambiguity. You should just go and sing something like, "Look, I'm depressed. I guess I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna go and read a book, I guess." Though I'm pretty sure that no one would actually enjoy those lyrics. Quite
Yeah,
to the
that's
contrary, probably. I mean, not even Hanzo would entertain that notion. You would just fire Dragon Strike to blow off some steam. It's like, I'm Hanzo, and I'm going to fire this Dragon Strike thingy to blow off some steam. And then there was, a giant dragon that consumes everything, including Hanzo himself. He accidentally the Hanzo.
He accidentally consumed himself.
Accidentally the whole cereal.
Absolutely.
Hanzo-lutely.
Mm-hmm. Hanzo.
Speaking of Hanzo and Overwatch, apparently Doomfist is bound to be released into the wild on July 27th. So a few more days and that fucker's gonna go live. And we're gonna see a whole slew of new Doomfist mains.
Yay.
And maybe, just maybe, people will start using Symmetra. Sombra.
Sombra, yeah. Sombra seems to be a fairly hard
Because
time.
until now, Sombra kinda didn't have a reason to exist.
She was in a really odd position. Like, she was a DPS, she could do a lot of shooty, but she also hacked the health packs, which was really useful. Like, just imagine being able to heal someone about once every 3 seconds. That's pretty big. So yeah, you can go invisible, hack people. Then the EMP is kind of useful when you just want
But
to
can
take
she
out
hack invisible people? Huh?
Actually, I think you can hack an invisible Sombra if you
Can
manage
she
to.
hack herself?
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I'm calling it now. We need a buff for Genji. He needs to be able to.
Ganja.
He needs to be able to deflect the hack. So
He needs more ganja.
He's trying to hack Genji, but then he does deflect, and then you are hacked. You hacked yourself. GG. And a hacked Sombra can't do anything but just shoot with her shitty Uzi that barely does any damage. It's like, pew pew, I'm shooting with you at you with the Uzi. It kind of
I'm
stings.
shooting at you. You should be very damaged now.
Yes.
Become damaged.
And then, you know, Soldier
Become
turns,
damaged now.
and then Soldier turns around and looks at her, and then she's defeated because no one can defeat Soldier.
I got you in my sights.
I'm guessing that I got you in my sights. Dismissed. Also, I'm not your father.
He hopes.
Everyone's father. And we are all soldiers now.
Yes.
Is he your father?
Crawling through my skin. I got you in my sights.
Crawling in my sights.
Anybody need some healing to get rid of the wounds that are crawling in my skin? Got this nifty
Honestly,
little...
that sounds more like something Reaper would.
Actually, yes. I did. You know, they have very similar voices, but Soldier's infliction is slightly differently than Reaper's. Reaper's more.
Soldier is kinda closer to a 70s action hero. 70s, not 80s.
So not like the 18.
No.
I love it when a plan
18
comes together.
Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, while the 70s are more...
More 70s.
Yes.
It's like what, Samurai Dynamite or something like that.
Black Dynamite.
Oh yeah, Black Dynamite. Who's also
But
samurai,
that's
by the
a
way.
different type of 70s action film.
That's ironically bad 70s action film. I'm sure we had another topic to discuss, but
No, we didn't.
no.
You were mistaken.
So this is it. This is all that happened last week. We're
Yes,
done.
Well,
this is all that happened and all that ever will happen.
Well, you did something say about literally who and never finished it, but I'm not sure if she deserves any publicity.
We already talked about it.
You know,
Oh, really?
idiots talk about people. Brilliant minds talk about ideas and shit. So
I was talking about Dr. Literally Who
oh.
because she's a feminist. Jesus Christ. Why do I have to explain the jokes?
But I think you... Actually, yeah, I think that literally who had something to say that was retarded, and
As always.
we're just going to dissect the idea that she presents, and we'll, you know, rip to shreds as we do with her ideas.
All I have is stuff they put in the news that it's very sexist that the Doctor Who actress was naked in something, conveniently ignoring that like half of the Doctor Who male actors were also naked in something. In the same article.
Oh my god. People can be naked? I say.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's all very scary. I'm scared. Hold me. But yeah, this literally who had this
No, you are
amazing...
dirty in Dutch, I will not hold you.
This literally who had the amazing insight that now that Doctor Who is a vagina, we're still not done, because he's not a black vagina, or a transgender vagina, or
Trans
transgender
vagina.
penis with a vagina. That has a penis on top of it. Like a penis, but it's got a vagina on the penis.
Why would you get a penis? Why can't you just get two vaginas?
You know what is sad right now?
What's so sad right now?
I am slowly starting to understand why people joined ISIS.
Because I just want to delete all of this.
They want
Like,
to delete vaginas.
all of it.
But yeah, so yeah, you know, so they basically get their thing, they get their cake. It's like, yeah, Now you have your female Doctor Who. You beat the patriarchy. It's dead now.
And they
Look at
are
it.
still
It's
not
writhing.
happy.
It's writhing in pain. And she's like, no, not enough diversity. We need them LGBT stuffs, and we need everything. It needs to have it all.
All they need is a big punch to the gut.
But that's how they win if you do that.
Not if they
Also-
don't survive.
Also, it doesn't solve anything.
True.
Now, what
But
will
it
solve
will
what will solve everything is if no one takes them seriously anymore. When you point out, look, we basically given what you wanted, you're still complaining, so why the fuck are we even bothering?
Well, they control the media, sadly.
Yeah, but we vote with our viewership and our wallets, and it's already kind of happening to Marvel, where they're like, yeah, our sales are dropping and whatnot, but we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, the sad thing is that even though Marvel's comic sales are going to hell, the movies, which by the way so far are not influenced by agenda, but the movies still make money, and those movies then help keep those shitty comics being made.
Yeah, but you know that still eventually it's gonna crack. They can't keep this up forever.
But when?
It's not a viable business model. It's kind of like the AMD versus the Intel thing. Like so Marvel's like, yeah, we're untouchable. We're a big comic company, and we can basically just push this shit on the public, and they'll just accept it as being the norm.
Problem is that even if the public doesn't accept it, and they don't accept it, then thanks to the movies, because most normal fags who watch those movies don't know about the comics, they just help them keep that shit alive.
No. Here's the thing though. So yeah, initially that's the case. They see the movies in theaters, and they buy the comics because they're like, oh, I like that movie in the cinema, so I'm just gonna go and buy this here comic. But here's the thing. You know what happened with Intel and AMD? Intel's like, oh, well, we're just gonna sit here on this big pile of money. We got this market in the bag. Everyone's buying our CPUs because there's no alternative. We'll be grand. No one's gonna stop us. We're just gonna, maintain shitty pricing practices and whatnot because people will buy it anyway.
Whatever.
And then someone comes along and is like, hey, do you want this superior product for less money? And then Intel looked kind of like an ass. Like, oh, now we actually have to compete. Shit.
Only that Marvel is at a point when they don't even need to sell the comics anymore. Like, technically, if no one ever bought the comics but still went to watch the movies and paid for the movies, they would be still alive. Which is why I don't go to Marvel movies anymore. Because I don't want to support that shit.
But there's the thing. So it might even work as a gateway drug. So people are buying the freaking Marvel comics. It's basically keeping the comic industry alive. They get bored of the comics because they realize, oh wait a minute, these comics are pretty shitty actually. And so, but I kind of like reading comics. So let's see what else is on. And then they see this other comic on the shelves. It's completely not influenced.
Which is kinda why not only DC, but also some indie comics are already beating Marvel in sales.
Indian comics.
The system works.
Oh no! This
But
terrible
as said-
capitalism.
But as already said, since people are still watching the movies, Marvel is still around.
Mhm. Well, yeah, but I don't care if they're around, to be honest. If they serve a section of the market that wants that kind of stuff, then more power to them. I'm actually not one of those people that want certain industries or companies to go down just because I don't like them. I'd rather see something else pop up that's just better, so I can have the choice. Because
Which is why I'm still extremely pissed whenever someone still says that Marvel is better than DC. even though it is obvious that said person never read a comic in the past 10 or 20 years.
Well, that is kind of the tricky thing about that, because yeah, Marvel has made some pretty impressive franchises in the past. So I guess they're kind of riding the wave of nostalgia as well, where people
And
just
the worst part is that because Marvel currently does not hold the movie rights to some franchises like the X-Men, they killed off the X-Men and they released a ban on using the X-Men anywhere. For example, in the upcoming new Marvel vs. Capcom game, Capcom was forbidden from using any X-Men characters. Like Marvel is now trying to pretend like X-Men never existed.
well, then someone just needs to invent a new and better X-Men.
They are already doing it. Like Marvel is already trying to push the Inhumans as the equivalent for the X-Men. Only problem is that the Inhumans originally, like when they were originally created in the 70s, they were more like a fantasy race.
Yeah. Also, it's don't you think it's kind of ironic that the X-Men was actually it's actually a franchise that managed to bring up the topic of racism and
Yes,
inequality and
that's
whatnot.
that's that's really ironic here.
Yes, they actually managed to bring it up in a way that's accessible to just about anyone. Like, you can be the most racist fuck and still read it and relate to it, because it's not a one-to-one parallel to.
Basically, anyone who ever felt like an outcast can, in some way, relate to the X-Men.
Yes. So it's actually, kind of doing what these people want to bring up, or want to raise awareness of, and that's exactly the franchise that's trying to kill off now,
Yeah.
because
They
reasons.
also did something similar with the Fantastic Four, since Marvel also does not have the movie rights to the Fantastic Four. Only that the Fantastic Four, seeing like how they are just a small group of people, were handled much better. Essentially, they just put them on a bus. Like there was a storyline that they left Earth for space to explore, and that's how it ends. Like yeah, they get on a spaceship, go to space, and that's how their entire comic series ends.
Just
But
so
since
so so
the
that
X-Men
so
covers the mutants, who are an entire species, Marvel literally started in their own universe a mutant genocide. Like there was a virus that killed every single mutant, and somehow it was treated as a good thing.
so in other words, they ended decades upon decades of, well, a comic franchise by saying, well, they when they stepped on a bus, and they went away
Well,
forever.
they Fantastic Four they just put on a bus.
Hmm?
The X-Men they brutally killed off.
That's pleasant. Such nice people.
Yeah, and then people wonder why I hate Marvel so much recently.
Because they shit on established franchises.
That too. They shit on established franchises, they push political agenda, and they are just assholes. Like they are huge assholes towards their own readers on social media. Like they openly attack people on social media for not reading their comics.
Well, that's something that I've heard plenty of times before. It's certainly not a new development, though it's a very shitty one.
And the worst part is anyone else would have gone bankrupt by now. But since Marvel has the movies and plus Disney is kinda, back has their back, they can
Disney
do
World.
they can do this shit as much as they want, and it seems like they don't have any comeuppance from it.
Well, don't be too sure about that. They might be big now, but I think what a lot of people
And
don't.
when Artrix gets to them,
Oh yeah, but when the moment I draw
it
something
won't
about
be
it,
so
like
big anymore.
when I make a satirical drawing about it, they'll all see. But but seriously, a lot of people think of these companies as like these unmovable institutions that cannot be harmed in any way. But for one thing,
Then they were. Right.
just look at what happened to Gawker.
Yes,
They
exactly.
Well,
seemed
Gawker is still around because Hillary Clinton bought them.
Wait, seriously? She bought Gawker?
Yeah, basically, Gawker was about to file for bankruptcy, but they were saved when they were bought by a media company, which, and said media company that bought them and technically keeps them around, happens to be co-owned by Hillary Clinton.
Dun dun dun.
So in other words, their Gawker is gone, but their spiritual successor is still out there.
Well, Artrix, why did you think she lost the election?
Because she bought Gawker. That's the only reason, obviously.
Yes.
It's no other reason whatsoever. It's not because he was...
The failure has imprinted on her, obviously.
It's not because he was completely oblivious to what people at large wanted and was completely disconnected to reality.
Artrix, why would she listen to people? She's a politician.
That too.
Well, Trump seems to be listening to some people. I mean, recently, Trump finally acknowledged Assad as the rightful ruler of Syria. I mean, yeah, sure, I know Assad is a tyrant and a dictator, but let's be honest.
That's what they say.
Well, let's be honest, they don't have any better alternative.
Seems like the Syrians quite like him.
Well, that's kind of the thing about these Middle Eastern regimes. Like, yeah, they're really shitty. Like, they got these dictators basically that, you know, use everything to stay in power. It's shitty, but apparently, if you take that element away, it's gonna be even more shitty because you create this power vacuum that's just gonna turn everything.
Yeah, that's basically what happened with Iraq.
Yes,
that's how ISIS came into existence.
So yeah, maybe it is a good idea.
And Assad at least stills himself as a civilized leader, unlike, you know, well, what was Gaddafi with his armed guard and stuff like that. No, Assad is like, I'm a politician. Stop bombarding my country. Thanks.
Yep, I'm just trying to be a dictator here. Thank you very much.
Which might be another reason why Trump won, because Hillary Clinton kept saying that Assad must be overthrown no matter the cost.
He's not doing anything that bad.
Well, Trump basically said that he wants to prevent the war from escalating any further.
And you know, if those people who were yelling at those poor journalists are any indication, they actually like Assad over there. They consider him a good guy for them.
The final point is that I don't care, and if they want Assad as their leader, then whatever. Isn't that, you know, what what democracy is supposed to be all about? If the people in the Syria want this dude to be their leader man, then whatever.
Well, obviously it's based. Democracy is based on how much oil do you have.
That too, and apparently they don't have that much, so it's cool.
Yeah. They are not very democratic.
If Assad were to be removed, then ISIS will actually become more powerful, because Assad was one of the powers that was fighting against ISIS throughout this conflict.
Well, yeah.
Kind of taking over his country. I don't think he likes that.
No, he was like...
I may be wrong, but I think he doesn't.
He was like, ISIS, I don't like it very much when you do that. Please go.
And ISIS is like, lol, Allahu Akbar.
But then he's like,
so you basically had Assad, Syria fighting against ISIS. You had Russia fighting against ISIS. And then suddenly Americans who at that point were being run by Obama, come in and start fighting against the Syrians and the Russians and claim that they are fighting against ISIS.
This is all very confusing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just swoop in and rename it. I'll just call it Artrix Land. And I'll just turn it into one big theme park. Everyone will be happy.
And with all the Assad accusations, it was basically like Americans go into Syria and are like, stop bombarding yourself.
But you see, once it's Artrix Land, you know, there's going to be a large influx of tourism from Americans
And artists.
and artists. Yep, it's going
going
to
to
be
be so
an
gay.
artist paradise. You know, everyone's got to have to work.
This paradise.
Our lives living in an artist's paradise.
Yay.
Being an artist will be mandatory. You have to stream at least once per week. And if you don't, I'll send you to the gulags, which is just another word for an art school. And
To the gulags.
to
Yeah,
the
very
art,
cool.
to the, not the gulags, but the art lags. And then you have to draw
Art that
and,
lags.
but it needs to be some kind of torture, so you're forced to draw your own Sonic OC, and you'll be quizzed on this.
Well, that's like still better than drawing smut of Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, well, and then again, if you were to go to Artrix Land, I'll make sure there's a law that specifically states that whenever you're called and sent to the art lag, then that you are forced to draw smut of Rainbow Dash.
Thank God I can draw.
Exactly, but you have to do it anyway. I don't care how bad I don't care how bad it is. You have to draw.
I'll just draw stick figures.
Mhm. But you have to do it over and over again for 6 weeks in a row, doing nothing but draw Rainbow Dash smut. You're not allowed to go away or do anything else. You only get like brief breaks to eat and sleep. The rest of your days are spent drawing Rainbow Dash smut.
You are brutal.
I know, right? I'm such a
Brutal.
diabolical mind at times. Also, if you get, you know, and once you start to crack and start to kind of tolerate being able to draw Rainbow Dash, you'll just change the assignment and tell you to draw nothing but Tracer.
I think at that point the damage would be so severe.
Artrix.
that
Artrix.
Yes,
Why would you change it to the same character?
that's exactly the point. It would be the same
Yes.
character, but would slightly differently.
With different hair.
Yes, exactly. You just take the pictures you've already drawn,
You would just lower the difficulty of the hair.
and then
Use one color instead of 16.
yes. You heard it here on Radio Rothingham first. Tracer's actually just a humanized version of Rainbow Dash without the rainbow hair. We just established that. Also, for some reason, Rainbow Dash is British, but that's minor detail I'm willing to overlook. Maybe Rainbow Dash is British in the Pony Show, but you know, they kept it a secret because he went to Ponyville and he adapted a new accent. Because apparently everyone in Ponyville in the Equestria speaks Atlantic American, standardized American. Actually, people don't speak Atlantic American anymore. Apparently there was like an artificial accent that they tried to push during the Cold War and the 50s. Like whenever you watch some sort of propaganda video from that era, what you will hear is Atlantic American English. It's like, when you go to school, make sure to know where your fallout shelter is. Because if you don't,
that kind of sounds like William Shatner.
but it is. They kind of did sound like William Shatner in those, you know, propaganda videos. When you and your family are in danger, just go to your fallout shelter and stay there for 6 weeks. And if you're not dead by then you can
You'll
rebuild
be alive.
society. But we can only do it if you support civil defense. Just turn your radio to 106 kilocycles, and you will receive the latest reports on where the nukes have fallen and how fucked the society has become. Also, if you are a Hanzo main, then you can die. We don't want you in our New World Order. Fuck off.
The only character I have on record is Hanzo with 5 minutes.
What's your kill death ratio?
I think at least 1-1.
The joke is that you can't really know for sure because the game doesn't record death to kill ratio.
But I'm pretty sure I died once and I killed somebody once.
Oh, so it's 1. So it's 1. So it's just 1.
Yes. 1-1. Duh.
GG.
Good.
Good. Ah, all right. Anyway, yeah, we pretty much dissected literally whose argument that we need more everything else in Doctor Who, like we need more Hanzos in Doctor Who, obviously.
This is why the saying exists: nothing, but take from them everything. Or, as an older saying goes, give them the finger, they take the whole hand.
Give them a fish and they'll, I don't know. Just don't use the fish as a condom.
Just use the fish as clubs and beat them with them.
Slap them with the fish. Yes.
Give Hanzo main an arrow and he can maybe get one elimination. Give him a semi-automatic pulse rifle and he can actually take care of himself, maybe.
Yeah, that's one of the things why I don't get Archer superheroes. You know, characters like Hawkeye and Green Arrow.
Oh no! I have fired all my 8 arrows. I am now very useless.
Yeah, I mean, I never really understood this type of superhero. Like, they already are just regular guys with no superpowers. Then why are they limiting themselves by using medieval weaponry?
Well, to be perfectly fair, like bow and arrows have one advantage over conventional fire weapons.
They go through the kinetic field, just like throwing knives.
Well, they make an arc, you see. So if someone takes the high ground and you're a competent Hanzo, which
Anakin! It's over! I have the high ground!
or that, yes. So
If Anakin had a bow, he would totally kill Obi-Wan Kenobi.
and
Well,
then,
he didn't have any arms to fire the bow with, but that's a detail.
well,
I think you are confusing Anakin with Abaddon.
No, I'm talking about the Wars of the Stars.
Not about the Wars of the Hammer.
No.
I'm pretty sure Hanzo could beat the shit out of Anakin Skywalker any day. And he's a Hanzo, you know. So that's actually quite pathetic.
No, maybe? I don't know. Who knows?
Hanzo ain't afraid of anything.
Well, then again, the hitbox
Hanzo
of
doesn't afraid of anything.
then again, the hitbox of his arrows is like a tree trunk, so he doesn't even really have to aim. It's like you just have to aim in general vicinity of Anakin, and he's dead. Not even his mediclorians would be able to save him now.
Actually, he uses those mediclorians to his advantage because even those have a hitbox. So the more mediclorians you have, the more he can hit you.
Yeah, so yeah. If you're a super powerful Jedi, then the mediclorians are created a hitbox that's basically the size of, I don't know, a Reinhardt. So yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, I have midichlorians. I can now guide the arrows that are being shot at Amdet.
Good job.
You know, many people seem to misunderstand how midichlorians work.
Well, from what I gathered, mediclorians work by
Well, I
sort-
get it. Everybody hates them because they appeared in the prequels.
that, and they completely ruined the lore that was established around the Force. Because in the original
No,
movies,
I'm pretty sure Anakin ruined the lore that was established about the Force. Look,
I'm
it's a guy with no father. It's a space Jesus. Which is
Well-
bullshit because everybody knows that Qui-Gon Jinn was the space Jesus. I mean, look at him.
but here's the thing. So when you watch the original trilogy, you know, the
Yeah.
Force was always presented as a very mystical and not understood entity, which basically could be whatever the fuck you want it to be, and no one gave a shit because it's fun. It's this unexplainable force that only a few people can master and can do all sorts of magic shit. It's fun. It's the Force. I ain't need to explain shit. And now the prequels came along and they're like, nope. There's no. We're going to try and make it logical and stuff.
Actually, it's science.
Yeah, they're like, actually, it's science. No,
The
it's
way
not.
Science.
The way I understood it,
That's wrong.
that simply the presence of midichlorians is supposed to measure the strength of the presence of the force. Like it's not the midichlorians that make the force, but more like midichlorians go where force is the strongest.
It
Or
still
something like
takes
that.
away. It still takes away the mythos of the Force. It attempts to make it scientific.
Scientific, yes.
That's not.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I'm a heretic.
Do you have a thing?
All right.
Here's the thing, Artrix.
Oh my god.
I never particularly thought the original trilogy was all that good.
Well, we
Ooh.
already knew that you thought that the original was not that good.
But
I mean,
it's the best fantasy in space film. Come on.
the best fantasy in space film is Flash Gordon.
But wasn't the best fantasy?
Gordon's alive!
But isn't the best fantasy in space movie like the Earth AE or whatever it's called? It's like the Don Bluth movie. It's like in space. And there's like this kid, and he's like an orphan and shit, and he lives in space because the Earth is destroyed, and then he goes into space, and then he finds a new Earth. He also finds a
That
chick on the way.
was that movie was a valiant effort, but kinda it didn't stick. Like I know what Don Bluth, I do know what Don Bluth was probably trying to do with that movie, and I respect
Smoking a lot of drugs.
that.
Well, it's Don Bluth, so yeah.
There are drugs. I mean, it's the 70s. There are drugs involved.
Yeah, but this movie was made in the freaking 90s, which was kind of a problem of it actually.
He
It was-
had a lot of drugs.
I
They
mean,
lasted him for at least 2 decades.
this movie suffered from some serious 90-itis.
Yeah,
Like it was
that
trying
was one of
really-
the
Go ahead.
things that prevented it from being truly good.
It
I
was,
mean, I do know that he was probably trying to take animation in a different direction because, you know, back then during the 90s, everything was just princess movies.
yeah, he was
So,
definitely trying to elevate
He was
animation.
trying
Go
to
ahead.
put a different genre on screen, which was badly needed at the point. In fact, I do think that the overabundance of Disney princess movies and knockoffs of Disney princess movies that kept coming out during the late 90s is ultimately what killed 2D animation.
Well,
And
definitely,
then you get things like Frozen.
which inexplicably, you know, is super popular to this day. And it's kind of ironic in this day and age of political correctness and feminism. It's kind of ironic that a movie that promotes hyper femininity and shit. I mean, it's the most stereotypical princess movie you can think of. Is doing so well still. Like, How
Well,
long has
also carried the message of men are terrible. The true love is your family.
but
I don't think they ever did the men are terrible
no,
Wow.
because
Tell
the
that to
other guy-
Elsa.
quite to the contrary. The movie basically said, okay, this this Hans guy, he seemed really nice, and that's the thing too. I don't even fucking remember the name of the other chick. It was Elsa and
Bob.
yeah, Bob. So Bob was like, oh, I got out of the castle. I can finally mingle with some regular people.
Oh no, my sister is a feminist.
And then the boy's like, hey, I'm a boy. And it's like, oh my god, just put your dick in my vagina. Do it now. And then he's like, oh, hold on there. Let's dance first. So they danced a bit, and then she was like, you know what? Let's get married. Let's do it now. And then Elsa was like, fuck that shit. Don't do it.
It's like, wait, what about the vagina thing?
Hmm? Yeah, I really want to put my pee-pee in her vagina. No, you can't do that. She's a princess, you know.
You only know each other for a few minutes.
That's true. You only know each other for like 14 seconds. Like, I just watched your music video that you made.
Hey, that's enough time to know a person that you know that you want to put stuff in their vagina.
Mhm. By which, of course, we mean walnuts.
Yes.
That's what I was going to put in there. Just saying. I mean, we are a family-friendly podcast. I was not going to suggest that you put something else in her vagina.
No, all he wanted to put there was these walnuts.
Hmm?
These nuts.
No,
These very family-friendly nuts. You know, and they're like frozen nuts, by which I mean they're nuts, but they have like a little label on it that has the frozen characters on it. That's kind of the thing about that's no seriously. I'm not kidding. You go to a fucking supermarket, you look at the dairy section, and there's fucking like yogurt drinks and milk and butter and
Oh yeah, those exist.
Yep. And all they are twice as expensive, but they have frozen characters on it, so that's totally worth it. I already feel sorry for the mother that's you just spent 8 hours at your shitty desk job because feminism, and you finally muster to get the time to pick up your daughter, and you're already completely fucked up and worn out from all the bullshit that deal at work, and then you get to the dairy section, and then your daughter just starts to scream excessively, just like, Mom, can I please have the goddamn frozen yogurt, Mom? I want the frozen yogurt. And you're like,
and then you have to buy something real, and you go to the frozen meat section, and it's like frozen Elsa chicken.
yes. So like, God. So she's like, God damn it, daughter, can we just get the regular yogurt? I mean, this one's just £1. No, Mom, I want the frozen yogurt. I want the frozen yogurt. Okay. And you walk to
She
the
was
meat
named Anna, not Bob.
Oh, okay. So you walk down to the meat section, then you come across an Elsa-shaped slab of beef.
It's like how they used to have like the meat in the shape of dinosaurs.
Yes.
Now it's all in the shape of Elsa.
Oh yeah, we did have the meat in the shape of that.
We're kidding about this, but I think this actually exists. You can go to the meat section.
I was just about to object that I haven't noticed anything like this over here, and I do go to the supermarket, like shopping to the supermarket quite often. So
I'm pretty sure you guys have it. You never paid attention to it. I'm pretty sure you guys have it. Also, for some reason, why? Oh, there we go. Everything moved around for some reason.
Well, there's definitely I don't know about the meat, but there's definitely Anna's snowballs. So that's how we find that Anna is actually a transgender.
No, but seriously, there you can go to the meat section and there's like meat, and it's usually like those slabs of ham or something like that, and they have like little shapes of characters in them. And at times it's, the first time it came around this sort of thing, it was with a famous Belgium character, Samson, for those who know the character.
That's
You could go and buy Samson meat slabs that have like little that have like Samson in it. So
amazing.
Yes, and I know for certain that you can get this kind of meat with the frozen characters on it. So if you want,
I want like 16 of them.
So if you want fucking Elsa on your meat slab of meat, you can do it.
I'm not going to eat anything else ever again.
I am slowly.
I'm not going to eat anything else ever again.
I am beginning to slowly understand why the Linkin Park guy killed himself.
Because he lived in a world where you can buy a slab of Elsa.
He went to a store and he saw Elsa yogurt and Elsa popsicles and Elsa chicken, and he was like, no more. I can't take this.
Elsa extension cords, Elsa megabit
Elsa
switches.
vacuums, Elsa washing machines, Elsa toasters, Elsa ski sleds.
I actually like the Frozen movie, and even I want to kill myself just hearing this.
Elsa tampons.
Actually makes sense.
Yes.
I would legitimately not surprise if that actually exists. If they thought, what would be appropriate if we put Elsa tampons in the market, because I'm pretty sure
that fits her character.
Some of the girls that have watched the original movies are probably teenagers now, and they need sanitation pads. So let's put some sanitation pads out there that have Elsa on it. And when you're done with them, it's actually quite a gruesome ordeal. Looks like she's been stabbed in the face a few times, but it was totally worth it. Totally worth the markup.
Good job.
Okay, I think we actually had a good run for this episode, because we are approaching the 1.5 hour mark. If you have something to bring up, do it now.
We should let it go.
Well, let it go. Okay. Well.
Okay. Bye.
But do you actually have a topic?
Yeah, I think we can end it.
All right.
I don't think it's relevant for this. It's basically just, I don't think we have any listeners who know what the hell I'm talking about. But if someone out there has any information about what the hell Godside is about, like what the hell the plot is, even.
Also, isn't the creator of what's its face regular show? Isn't he creating like kind of a slice of life kind of show?
Yeah,
like a regular show.
Yeah, it essentially regular show for adults is going to air on TBS.
Even more regular show.
Well, this is a pretty regular show.
Like regular show. And there is no censorship, and it's called it's called Close Enough.
Yeah, that's it. That's the name of the show. So Close Enough. It's basically, like I said, it's gonna be regular show, but for adults. So it's gonna have a lot of adult humor in it, like fart jokes.
Same, only that it is exactly the same style of humor as regular show, only that now they are use more naughty language.
Mm-hmm.
And more sex jokes, but it's really just the type of humor on a regular show only. They can get away with more.
Well, as long as it doesn't end up like that Ren and Stimpy adult party thing that that was supposed to be John K's real vision, and then I was like, I'm not sure if I like this vision.
Well, Johnny K himself thought it.
Yeah. Johnny K was like, this is my real vision of Ren and Stimpy, and now I'm no longer constrained by the networks, and now I can present you the true vision of Ren and Stimpy, and then I watched it like, I don't like this vision. I'm sorry, John K.
But
Like-
to be fair, at least some of the episodes were good. In fact, I dare to say that the episode of I do dare to say that the episode Altruist is in general one of the best Ren and Stimpy episodes. It also does help that said episode is a huge love letter to the Three Stooges.
Is that from the new series or the original series?
Party cartoon. It's an episode of an adult party cartoon that pays homage to the Three Stooges, and it's like, in my opinion, it's legitimately good.
Well, that's probably the exception from the rule. With that said, this was yet another episode of Radio Rothingham, the least professional podcast on the entire internet. Not just the partial internet, the entire internet. If you like what you just witnessed, then like, subscribe, do all that good jazz. You can also, commission me, tenor, to have me draw, something on the show. So you can decide what I draw. And, next time I'm going to be drawing Genji, and then I'm actually done with drawing all the Overwatch characters. And then I'll be free forever to troll something else. Anyway, so...
Also, if you hate any particular book, bring it to Sweden. They burn them now.
Yep, that too. Apparently,
Sweden
Sweden started burning books. They didn't like Pippi Longstocking, so now they're just burning it.
They didn't like this book that was written 70 years ago. They decided it's not modern enough, and thus it should
That's
be...
heresy. Filthy heresy.
It's a book piracy. Like,
So yeah, GG Sweden, you're become more of a shithole than you already were.
You Sweden out of existence right now.
they are trying.
Or-
Give them some time.
Or just ignore it, it'll go away eventually.
Yes. Via a
Not
giant smoking crater.
But not before they drag the entirety of Europe and the Western world to hell with them.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm here, so...
Well, you have Germany for that.
Yeah, and that's the sole reason why the Netherlands is its own country, because we just don't want to be like Germany. Germany's like, hey, why don't you just become Germany?
Why don't you just become German and have this simple language?
Yeah, why don't you just become Germany?
And then the Dutch are like,
No, we're more like, sodemie toch wel lekker en top Duitsland.
yes, exactly.
So, alright. So, this was the end of the episode. Hope you liked it. And see you next week for yet another retarded episode of Radio Rothingham.
Not sure what episode it was, but it's the end. Finally, good.
It is the end.
This
of
is
the
the end.
Or as
The
Hanzo,
end is upon us!
or as Hanzo would say, Sake!